Time always wins. Every empire to ever exist, every tyrant and every ruler, every culture and society and civilization, no matter how important and no matter how powerful, they all end. They all turn to dust because time always wins. This is the Silent Republic. We all walk through life pretending that this is true, like our lives are permanent, as if our culture or society or political ideologies or even faiths will last forever. But it's an illusion. I've been reading a lot lately, and recently I finished the Epic of Gilgamesh, and I found myself thinking about the people that created it, the Sumerians. They were one of, if not the first, great world civilization. Like in their time, they were the world. They probably believed that their cities would last and that their culture like truly mattered and their achievements would last forever. But almost no one even thinks about the Sumerians anymore. And it's not because they didn't matter. It's not because they weren't important. It's because time moves. It moves on. And so today, the kingdom of Sumer is nothing but ruins and a few scattered clay tablets, mostly sitting behind museum glass. And the Sumerians aren't unique. The same thing could be said of ancient Greece or Rome, or really any empire from history. Every one of them felt permanent during their time, and millions of lives revolved around them, people willing to die for them, people living their entire lives within these societies. And yet time won. And I think about this when I look at old photographs too, of city streets from 100 years ago, or old houses with people standing out in the yard, or even pictures of factory workers after a shift. And I think that every single one of those people was like us. They had ambitions and fears, and they loved and they experienced life just as fully as we do. And now most of them are gone, and the streets change and the cities change, if they're even left, and the people disappear and the memories fade. And if we're lucky, after we die, we will be a memory for our children and maybe for our grandchildren. And if our great grandchildren, we might be a photo hanging on the wall or something. Maybe a story told at a family gathering, but even those memories will fade with enough time. And every possession we ever owned, every object we treasured, every achievement from our lives, everything will end up in the hands of strangers, eventually, or in a landfill. And this is the fate of nearly every human being that has ever existed, billions and billions of people living lives that would soon be forgotten. And even those few who aren't, like your Caesars and your Genghis Khans and your George Washingtons, like eventually that's going to happen to them too. It may take 1,000 years or 10,000 years or 100,000 years, but time will come for them too. Now, there are two very different responses to this reality. And the first is like taking a sigh of relief. I remember Billie Eilish saying this once in an interview a few years back, and it was so true because she said something along the lines of, "Why are you worried, bro? In 100 years, no one's going to even remember." And like, that's so true. In 100 years, no one will remember that super embarrassing thing you posted, or that embarrassing thing you did, or the failures and the mistakes you made. Like, no one's going to remember any of those things. Time swallows it all, and there's almost something like comforting in that, especially for some people. But then there's another response, and that's terror, like a ontological horror. And if I'm honest, I identify more with this response. I've sat with that feeling and I've asked myself, if every civilization becomes dust, if every life becomes dust and then becomes just forgotten, lost to time, then like what's the fucking point? Like what are we even doing here? And why does it matter? And for a long time, like I honestly didn't have a good answer to that. But now I think I've arrived somewhere differently. And it's not optimism, but neither is it nihilism. It's a kind of melancholy. It's a deep awareness of the impermanence of life, of the fact that everything passes away. The conversations that drift away, those moments between a parent and a child, conversations between friends, whispers between lovers, like literally everything fades with time. And so the dreams that we spend our lives chasing, the achievements we are striving towards, everything is forgotten at some point. And there's a sadness to that, like a real sadness. But that's only half the story. The tyrant disappears as well. The pain and the suffering, the cruelty and the injustice. Because time always wins, and time is the great equalizer. And all things are temporary, both good and bad. And so all we really have is right now, like this life, this moment, this conversation, these people like our family or our chosen family, our friends, right now. And it matters because we experience it. And the truth is, I still feel the melancholy, and I suspect I always will. But I've stopped seeing impermanence as a reason to despair, and I've started seeing it as a reason to live, to love, and to pay attention, because none of these moments in this moment will never be here again. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. And to the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again, what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this here is something new? It was here already, long ago. It was here before our time. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. Time always wins. This is the Silent Republic.